Gimel, V'hine be'inyan atfila amru razal. Now concerning the prayer, our sages said, V'lavai shispalel adam kol hayom kulo. If only a man would pray the entire day, V'hari amru razal v'talmud Torah keneged kulam. But didn't our sages say that the study of Torah is equivalent to them all? But Medrash Tilim Siman Samech Daled, Daniel Masar Nafshu ala Tefillah. In Medrash Tilim it says that Daniel gave up his life for prayer, because that's what those that were eating the thorns of Daniel found him doing. And that is that prayer is from below to above, Mesiras Nefesh, and Torah is from above to below. Like it's brought in the Mamar of your sons are the learners of Havaya, that this is the concept of your sons and your builders. And if you have Torah without the prayer, so it's called that you didn't bless on the prayer on the Torah first. Look what's brought in the Mamar Yonasi in my dove in the cleft about get up. And only after that are you called my loved one. Look what's brought in the Mamar to be joyous and happy about all the soul should praise Yud-K. So the Lahalal Yud-K meaning to bring down from beyond Yud-K into Yud-K, from above to below, or from below to above. Vadmo Zal, Pirush Kówed Rosh. So the Alter Rebbe explained Kówed Rosh. Before we brought the Magid's explanation, now he brings the Alter Rebbe. Ki hine Yisrael li Rosh, because Yisrael is made of the words to me ahead. V'zeu Shema Yisrael Havaya Elokeinu. And this is, listen Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu, ki Yisrael Alo b'machshava. Because Yisrael came up in thought. So these are levels then. Yisrael is the highest level. Lirosh, ahead to me, before Havaya Elokeinu. Because they came up in the highest level of thought. And therefore, each Jew has this nullification in essence. Because the son is the leg of the father. Just like the leg is nullified to the head. And this is also the concept of that all the soul should praise Yud-K, Nir Hashem Nishmas Adam, and that the soul of the candle of Hashem is the soul of man. So Tahalal Yud-K is the word Tahalal can also mean to shine like a candle. So Yud-K will shine the candle of the neshama, that we're the candle of Hashem. But since the soul is enclosed in a body and an animalistic soul, that my sins have passed over my head, because this Rosh that's enclosed that's enclosed in a body, this divine spark that's from so high, Machshavayla, the avonos surrounded, they're above, so to speak, my head. Which is the opposite of the idea of the wise man. His eyes are in his head. And you need to awaken great mercies upon this. And that's the concept of the heaviness of the head. Which is the concept of humility and lowliness. Ve'ubigeres hatshuva, so Perek Yud, Perish Zeu Tshuva Tata. And in Tanya, in Igeres hatshuva, it explains that awakening this mercy and the Kovat Rosh is the lower level of tshuva. Bringing the hay back up, Ve'atfila atzma hi tshuva ilah, and the prayer itself is the higher level of tshuva. Ve'tshuva hainu tashuv hay, and tshuva is to return the hay aliyus knesses Yisrael, which is the elevation of the souls of Israel. Like we said, that Yisrael is lirosh, and so you're elevating this head. It's Nesias Rosh. From its kówed, from its kvedus, v'im ken yish lekasher Pirush Hamagid Nishmas Vaadmo Pirush Admo Nishmas Vaadmo yachad. If so, we can tie the explanation of the Rav Hamagid Nishmas Vaadmo together with Alter Rebbe's explanation together. Sh'ayidei tshuva tata shi kówed rosh, which that through the lower tshuva, which is the heaviness of the head, mebichinas avonosai avru roshi, because of the sins that have passed over my head, shezeu haneshama, which is the soul, that the roshi is the soul on the lower end. Al yidei zeh mamshich gam ken haor beknesses Yisrael shenikra rosh. Through this we also draw down, like the parish of the Magid, the light into Knesset Yisrael. That's called the head, the Rosh, as it's the Shechina. So through Yisrael, Rosh, that's Yisrael below. You draw down the Rosh as it's the Shechina from above. You should have the redemption upon its head. The gula of the menorah of Zechariah, as it's has the aleph of Geula. V'zeu ki Sisa Rosh Bnei Yisrael, and this is what it says when you lift up the head of Bnei Yisrael. Lefi Mashin is Borliel, according to what we explained before Yishlomar, we can say Rosh Nikra Shechina Shirosh Bnei Yisrael, that the head is called the divine presence, which is the head of Bnei Yisrael. Imkein halas Shechina hainu lechabra im nehorai la ziranpin. If so, the elevation of the Shekhinah is to unite it with the supernal light, which is their anpin, to unite Malchus with his Zohar. Like what's brought in the Mamar, that you are my candle, and explaining, and Ashrei, how we say, I'll lift you up, my Elokah, the king, which is elevating the Melech, the Malchus, or to elevate it to Bina Shechinta Ilah, the higher Shechina, which is also would be Rosh, or Yishloma Rosh Bnei Yisrael, or you could say Ki Sisa Rosh means the Rosh Bnei Yisrael, like the Parish of the Alter Rebbe. Yud Beis Shvatim de Bria, that it refers to the 12 tribes of the world of Bria, Nikra Yud Beis Bakar, which are called the 12 cattle, Merkava Tata, which are the lower Merkava, Shemha Merkava, Lebichinas Malchus, that they are the chariot to the concept of Malchus, Lalos, Lebichinas Merkava Teila, to elevate them to the higher Merkava, Datzilus, that of the world of Atzilus, of Yosef, Shema Merkava La'atzmus Orein Sof Chulu, that as they are a concept in the world of Atzilus, it's as they are a chariot to the essence of the infinite light and so forth. So below there are Merkava to Malchus, and above in Atzilus there are Merkava to Atzmus Orein Sof, Mishnas Chasidim, Ube Memem Ches La Beis Yosef. Kasav Ki Sisa Ki Remiza B'Knesset Yisrael. that ki hints to the souls of Israel. The hakaf ramiza ba v'yud uv'hachinami. Because the kaf hints to Knesset Yisrael, and the yud also. Because it's like Rashi Tevos, Knesset Yisrael. The word ki, Sisa, is Knesset Yisrael, Tisa. When you lift up Knesset Yisrael, Ein mashikasu b'likuti Torah b'shir hashirim b'habir diyonasi b'nyenu l'chilach b'chinas kaf yud v'mashikasu v'al-pasuk el ki seitze. So it says, look what it says in the Mamar and the beer of Yonasi concerning, and you should go to you. Ulechi is the word, and to kaf yud ulechi, and the kaf and yud is a similar idea to Sisa. Rashi Tevos Knesset Yisrael, like the Beis Yosef says. It's not Umagid Mesharim. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's his Parish on the Torah. And we say, when you want to elevate it upwards, the ha'ihi ikri Rosh b'nei Israel, that she's called the head of b'nei Israel. The lagabi Israel ihi Rosh, that in comparison to Israel, she's a head. Lagabi sfirani la'in ihi sofa lifikudehem. But in comparison to the supernal spheros, she's the end of their counting, meaning to say the Shekhinah is the head to Israel, but Malchus, Bechinas Malchus, is the lowest level in the counting of the spheros. Also, because in the Brisa it says that we don't stand up to pray from depression or sadness. Mitוך simcha shel mitzvah, only from the joy of a mitzvah. Vayin mashakazva pasuk tachas asher lo varata besimcha umemashakazva betilim simin kufal fal pasuk ivdu es Hashem besimcha. And look what's brought on the verse, because you didn't serve Hashem in joy, and in Tehillim on the verse, serve Hashem with joy. Besimcha hi bina, and simcha is the level of bina. Im kein zeu ki Sisa Rosh b'nei Israel. So if that's the case, when you lift up the head of Bnei Israel, Shia Malchus L'chabraim Bina, is to elevate it to the level of Bina, which is the concept of Simcha, to serve Hashem with joy. Ketzer Inyan V'lavai Shispalel Tfila Milamata L'mayla V'Torah Milamayla Lamata. So in short, if only a person would pray from below to above, and Torah from above to below, V'yesh Perush Kovat Rosh Ki Yisrael Li Rosh. And there's also a parish of the heaviness of the head from the Alter Rebbe, that Yisrael is to me a head, v'Yakov Yud Ekev, and Yaakov refers to the heel. So you have Yisrael and Yaakov, meaning the head and the heel. I'm b'dibur ha'maschil, shir ha'malus me'amah, makim b'lekutei Torah b'durushay yaser simei tshuva, achavonosai avru roshi, but my sins have gone over my head. I have enveloped my neshama. I need to awaken great mercies on this. Koved Rosh, and this is the heaviness of the head. And we can connect both of these explanations. That from the heaviness of the concept of the sins that have gone over my head, they weigh on my head, meaning to say, doing tshuva from below. And you draw down, lifting up the head of Yisrael through your tshuva and tefillah. Gorim gam kein l'mayla ki sisa rosh. You also cause above to lift up the head, to draw down the rosh, according to the magid. Hu perish ki sisa rosh b'nei Yisrael. So and we can explain that when you lift up the head of the sons of Israel, it's like and he lifts up the horn or the honor of his nation. Similar to that verse. Ki Sisa Rosh and V'yarim Keren Lam Ki Chayus Olamos Rak Mi Bechinas Malchus Yisbarich, because the life force of the world is only from his attribute of kingship. May be blessed. Aval Asher Kitishanu B'mitzvos V'tzivanu Mi Bechinas Mehuso V'etzmuso Chulu, but that you have sanctified us in your mitzvahs and commanded us. From the it connects us to his essence and being, and so it's because the life force of the world is only malchuso, but with the mitzvahs we reach at the essence and being muso v'etzmuso. Ayin. Look what's brought in the Mamar, and therefore you should say to the sons of Israel, and not only that, but also from their source, even though that we exist below Malchus, but in our source we're higher. Like it's brought in the Mamar Bechukosai concerning the letters that are engraved, the source of Neshamos Yisrael, and the osios that were on the luchos. And look what's brought in the Mamar Ilamase concerning that these are their journeys to their goings out. What does it mean? It means to say to their shoresh that you would say them from above. And also in the Hazino concerning the concept of when your nation passes over Havaya, meaning to say goes higher than the level of Havaya. And so through this we also awaken above the elevation of Zan Nukva Shiyayar Behem Bechinas Arich Anpin, that should shine into them, into Zun, the light of Arich. So if you have the zivug of Zun Nukva, you have the hashpa of Yisod back into Malchus, to the Nesias Rosh, like it's explained in earlier, that you should have the Nahar Yotze Maiden instead of Nahar Yechirav. So when you have this, so you also draw again to the Rosh of Arich Anpin as well. Parshas Bamidbar binyan suas Rosh Gulgulosam. Look what's brought in Parshas Bamidbar concerning lift up their head to their Gulgolis, to their skull, which is the concept of Arich, of Keser. Daled Bialkut Chilik Aleph Parshas Mishpatim Tchilas Remez Shin Mem Aleph Daf Beites Amud Daled Rabbi Shmuel Omer. So in Yalkut Mishpatim it says that Rabbi Shmuel said, Borei Shirach Mav Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu Al Basar V'Dam, come and see that the mercy of the Holy One, blessed be He, is upon flesh and blood. She'adam Kones Atzmo B'Mamon Midei Shamayim, that a person can acquire themselves with money from the hands of heaven. I chose His mercy. Shenemar Ki Sisa Rosh Chulu Kofer Nefesh, like it says, when you lift up the head, an atonement to the soul. Parsha Truma Daf Tzadik Tes Amud Daled Remez Shasa. So in Yalkut in Truma Ubishash Amar V'Nasnu Ish Kofer Nafsho, that at the time when they said that a man should give an atonement for his soul, Amar Moshe Mi Yochal Litin Pidyon Nafsho Chulum. So Moshe said, who can give an atonement for his soul? Zeitnu Kazeitnu. So Hashem showed him a coin of fire and said, this is what you should give, just like this you should give. Yishlomar, we can say, Ki Vayitzer B'Shnei Yudin, that man was created with two yuds, as opposed to the animals that were created with one yud in Parshas Breshis. Neged Shnei Yitzarim, that corresponds with the two inclinations, V'hachet hu mitzad ha'yetzer hara, and the sin that's coming from the bad inclination. L'chin dai b'machatzisa shekel, and that's why it's enough to give half a shekel. Shu yud gera neged yud echad min vayitzer, and that's 10 gera of the 20, corresponding with 1 yud from the word vayitzer, which is like the word yetzer, because he has 2 yetzers. So he has 2 yuds in the word yetzer, that he was formed him, but it's also vayitzer, meaning to say that he placed in him a yetzer. Parshas Tisa daf kuf beis sof hamodal tchilas remez shenayin vav ki Sisa Rosh b'nei Israel. When you lift up the head of b'nei Israel, mipnei shem dvukim bi. Why are you lifting up the heads of b'nei Israel? Because they're cleaving to me, they're attached to me. That's why you lift them up. Hey, Reish Parshas Tisa v'daf kufei hamodaled v'ish achad adam v'ish bal ish v'chulu al ki Sisa. So we bring the pasuk from Yeshaya that when a man is lowered and a man is brought down, and when you lift up the head, so the pasuk says v'ishach adam v'ish bal ish v'al tisalahem. So, and then it says ki Sisa Rosh is the opposite idea. Vayin b'gemara sof sota daf mem ches sof amar aleph shegormim shiflus l'sono shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And in Gemara Sota it says that we cause a lowliness to the enemy of the Holy One, blessed be He. Vein ish ela HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And ish refers to the Holy One, blessed be He. So when it says to the enemy of the Holy One, blessed be He, so that's a perush on vayish bal ish, ish in ish ela HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'shiflu zuyu v'en mamash kaz b'torah or b'dibur hamaschil v'yira el Avraham be'inyan sha'galos nimshol ibur v'chulu. And this you can understand according to what it's brought in the Mamar about, I will show myself to Avraham, how the exile is compared to a pregnancy. V'imkein al yedei ki Sisa Rosh b'nei Israel. And if so, through the idea of when you lift up the head of b'nei Israel, hepech v'ishach adam, the opposite of this pasuk, that when you lower man, the gormim, meaning v'ishach adam ha'elyon, gormim gamken b'chinas v'igdalti v'skadashti. So you cause the idea of I will greaten, I will become holy. V'zeu ki Sisa Rosh, and that's when you lift up the head, mipnei shem dvukim bi, because they're attached to me. So when you lift up the head of b'nei Israel, so you lift up the v'ishach adam v'ishbal ish ze HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'imkein yeshuasam hu yeshuasi. If so their saving and their pedron is my saving, just like you brought before from the Yalkud in Tetzaveh, that Bnei Israel or Dvukim Bi, and he connected it to the Yalkut in Ki Sisa and the Gemara in Sota.